Good evening. I'm going to call to order the September 10th Village of Webster Board Meeting. Trustee Belkane, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I'll open up the public comment portion of the meeting. If anyone would like to speak, please come to the podium and give your name and address. Okay, and if there's no one who would like to speak tonight, we'll move right into the board business. First up, we have a resolution to approve the village board meeting minutes of August 28th. Actually, that would be September 1st. This is the first one up. It was the workshop. Questions?
No.
All right, I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the September 1st workshop.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Belkane,
Aye.
Trustee Byers,
Aye.
Trustee Lancy,
I was absent.
Mayor Cahill,
Aye.
motion passes.
All right, next is the minutes for the special board meeting for the authorization of the mayor to sign the Village of Webster and new insurance package policy applications. And that was held on September 8th. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion and a second to authorize those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Belkane,
Aye.
Trustee Lancy,
Aye.
Trustee Byers,
I was absent.
Mayor Cahill,
Aye.
motion passes.
Okay, next up is resolution to pay the warrants and claims. I went through the bills last night. I didn't have any questions.
The Easy Passes, 525, is that, how many do we get?
I want to say, I don't know what's talking about. I apologize.
For some reason, 25 sticks out.
Should say it in there. Oh.
I thought it was 25.
I'll bet you.
I thought maybe it was more.
What do you need that many?
We sell them.
Oh,
Yeah,
No,
yeah. I was just wondering how many.
25.
I was right.
good call.
How are we doing with the sales of Easy Passes now that the town has?
Actually, we're doing really well with them. This is like our second or third box that we've ordered, so we're going through them pretty quickly.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Any questions? Any other questions on the bills? All right, I'll entertain a motion in a second to pay the claims and warrants.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Lancy,
Aye.
Trustee Byers,
Aye.
Trustee Belkane,
Aye.
Mayor Cahill.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, next we have an authorization to approve Christina Lezak to attend the New York State GFOA Fundamentals of Budgeting workshop. It's held in Canandaigua on September 29th. I believe it starts at, 9 and runs till 1:30. For those that don't know, Christina is the village treasurer. So I'll entertain a motion in a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Lancy,
Aye.
Trustee Belkane,
Aye.
Trustee Byers,
Aye.
Mayor Cahill,
Aye.
motion passes.
Anything for us at this time, Don?
No.
Okay, next we have the comp and overtime report for office for the month of August. Actually, it's from July 25th through August 21st. I need the road work on here.
No, it's typically
The weekend?
time, it's weekend duties, and the, call in there is. There's, Jazz Fest was in the end of that, because.
Pardon?
The last week in July, Jazz Fest was there.
Right.
For.
That's
the one
right.
day, 8.5. It's the majority of that, I think, was Jazz Fest. There's a couple
Mhm.
call-ins for STPs, for alarms and things like that. And then watering, depending on the weekend, I think there was one weekend we skipped, but the other weekends, we usually had somebody Sunday morning come in and split the difference.
All right, Jake, anything for us? Any questions on the comp time?
Nope. You answered them. Call them.
Yep.
I had a whole lot of stuff, but then you told me there was pizza and cookies available, so I'll make it really quick. Barrett Drive, we're gonna be paving on Tuesday.
Tuesday. That's right, I
and-
talked to Dan and Mike. No, Dan and Jim Scott.
Yeah,
Right.
and Fuller Avenue between Dunning and London,
Right.
and Harmon Street on Wednesday is the plan. Tuesday, we're looking.
I thought you were doing Harmon Street next year.
I know, I was
Wait a
gonna
minute.
try to leave it like that. We're looking to see if we can do Barrett on, at night or a
Right.
different time, but I just don't think it's gonna be able to work out that way, so we're gonna try to get in there and there's enough access.
What's the
I think,
issue?
on the sides. It's the plant. The plants are, they're not gonna open for.
Oh, no,
at night
they're not
our-
for that little bit.
That
You're
little
right.
bit.
Right.
And the other plant that is open is gonna be out in Gates, and it's just, you'd need a whole lot of trucks, and it would
Right.
just drive up the cost. It would skyrocket it, so we're gonna end up doing it during the day, and, if people flagging traffic, there's enough access to the places there. You can get in off of West Main to the whole
Buying
east side.
Wegmans too.
Just about, yeah, so.
Right.
We try to minimize the disturbance, but there'll be nice roads when they're done.
Sure will be. A lot of people would be happy about that.
Yeah, we're
One
also.
person named Barry Howard.
Yeah. If, I don't know if everybody saw there was, looks like there's gonna be a disruption in our ferric chloride that we use down at the sewage treatment plant. We are working with just having discussions with the town and the county on how they're approaching. We bought it off of the county bid.
Right.
And I think their attorneys are looking at the provisions that, force majeure, did I say that right? Yeah.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonjour. They were looking at what the company claimed, I think, and trying to work with them on ensuring that we have a supply. We did get a delivery yesterday, and I've been working with another company too, just to see if that doesn't work, that we still have a supply of that ferric chloride that we need down at the plant, so.
Wow. How many suppliers are there?
Actually, the strength that we use, the concentration we use, there was one.
Just one?
There was one. It was a DuPont made it, and they didn't make the ferric chloride. It was a byproduct of another process of sodium. It's in that letter. I was trying to
Right.
look it up before. Some other chemical process that they make. The ferric chloride is a byproduct of that.
Wow.
So they were able to sell that to different, Camara being one of them, that they turned and sold it to
Right.
us. So there's other concentrations of ferric chloride that we can use. So we might adjust the dosing in that, but what we have works, and I'm sure we can get the other stuff to work as well. There's different concentrations, like I said, there's different forms of ferrous and ferric chloride, so we'll make sure we have something, we'll keep going. It helps, we trickle it into the waste stream because it helps the phosphates precipitate out of the stream, so that's not going into the lakes and causing algae blooms and things like that, so. I think that's it.
You really want that pizza?
I do, and the cookies.
Jerry's on here. Want us up the phone? All right. I'll try. you know how to get an outside line on there? I don't do this, so I really don't know.
I
I'll have to
haven't
skip
done
the
it
calling
since
then.
the system.
Jerry's usually the secretary.
Yeah, you just have
I
to,
think she just changed the status.
I know.
Meeting two.
Thank you for calling the village.
That's me.
hey, that sounds familiar.
No.
I think the number here, 265. Thought you usually tell people what it is.
Yeah, well, I know what it is. It's 265-3772 if they want to call in.
What that's what Jake's gonna try and do right now.
Yeah, but you've got to, there's like something to do in here.
Just come on in there, Jake.
I think there's a status,
It goes down one.
second one, Ed.
I think it's down one or two. Yeah, Jerry will call in. This is what you do. Jerry, call me on my cell
You
phone.
just called while you were talking, he just called me.
Did he really? Anybody have any announcements?
Garlic Festival this Saturday.
Oh,
and
Saturday, huge garlic festival on Saturday,
And Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday at the Fireman's Field. There will be a multitude of vendors there. And I think it's a requirement that every food vendor that attends has to have some element of what they're selling has to have garlic in it. So it should be very well attended. Apparently, they're very popular, this garlic festival. And I know that the Bremont Bistro had a garlic bisque last week that, if you like garlic, and even if you, it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So garlic bisque, I'll be looking forward to that at the garlic festival at the Fireman's Field this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So please, if you have an opportunity, please stop down. Mr. Walter.
Yes, I was gonna call you, well, it's been customary in the past that when the village board has a workshop or a special meeting, that the minutes, or at least discussion of what happened at those be read to the public, which we did not.
Sure, I briefly went over the special meeting, what that was for was.
You mentioned it so briefly, I don't think anybody caught it, and the
Okay.
workshop would be appreciated.
Sure,
for our people
absolutely.
Watching at home.
So the special board meeting was, we got a quote from our insurance company late last week, and the applications had to be signed and handed in no later than noon on Wednesday. So we had to meet on Tuesday, so the board, majority of the board could authorize the mayor to sign those applications. We did go with a new underwriter, and we are seeing a savings of $4,000 this year in our insurance policy versus last year. Which is a pretty significant savings. Typically, insurance rates go up, they don't go down. So Smith Insurance did a great job finding us an underwriter and saving us some significant dollars. So that was what that meeting was for. Did you want to read the, Daryl, trustee Byers will
I'll
read
give you
the
information
notes.
on the village board workshop. The primary focus of the meeting was on a presentation given by Robert Boots, New York State licensed private investigator from Clues Investigative Services, and it was regarding security issues at village events. Mr. Boots stated that security guards are required to be licensed in New York and have an ID visible while they work. The only people exempt from that are active law enforcement personnel. Also talked about employees must be on a roster for an agency. If the promoter brings in their own security, they also must be licensed in New York State. So he went on to talk about different standard operating procedures or that could be designed for different venues for different events. And also talked about a fine that possibly could be imposed if there were violations. Talked about the fact that we have to be careful that if nuisance laws are put in place, that they're not too broad, and they can become a problem if they're abused. Nuisance laws were talked about. Webster Police Department Chief Joseph Rieger noted that nuisance laws could be helpful in the future, but they must be geared more to the village needs. Disorderly entertainment ordinance was something that he had noticed and possibly could be helpful for the police. An ordinance could be helpful to allow us to shut things down, but we don't really have a crime problem here in Webster that would rack up the points to apply if there was a point system. That was his statement. He did feel, however, that in this particular case of the Harmony House incident, you do have a responsible business owner. He did praise that, and however, he did say that in the future that may or may not be the case for that or for other venues. And then the last thing we did, we approved Superintendent Public Works to execute a clean water and grant and CWSRF financing application for the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, and to execute any and all other documents, applications, forms, instruments necessary to provide a complete application package on behalf of the Village of Webster. And I think we're looking at that as part of funding for the sewer rehab, right?
Yes. Actually, if I can, there's an update on that real quick. I did
Just-
submit the application.
Mr. Walter, thank you for the reminder, appreciate it. Trustee Byers, thank you for reading the minutes. Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, you're fine. There was I did submit the application for it's a Clean Water State Revolving Fund. It's a program that's goes through the EFC, the Environmental Facilities Corporation, I think that is. But I filled out the application for the Clean Waters Grant. Part of that application required the Clean Water State Revolving Fund financing application, which to me is a little putting the cart before the horse. And I know there was some questions in regards to the amount that we ended up putting on that application. The original discussion on the digesters was about 1.1, 1.2 million.
Well, with the boiler, it came to 1.4 million. And I
Yeah.
was just, when I saw 1.7 million, I just was a little bit shell-shocked.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you brought it up, because there was other energy conservation measures.
And some of those numbers actually doubled.
That were included in there. No, I think there was the way it was originally written, there was like 1.2 for the boiler, another 250, or excuse me, 1.2 for the digesters, and 251, I think it was, for a group of energy conservation measures. And there was a standalone one for the boiler that was 223.
No, I wasn't talking about, I was talking about the numbers on the sheet. Remember, because he crossed the number out in the other column and it was double what it was in the other
Yeah,
one?
there was a couple that quadrupled.
Yeah, it's
What
like-
the engineer wrote in for the bond counsel and the financial advisor, I think they had about $6,000 estimated in there. And the financial advisor guy, he looked at it quick before he sent it in, and he crossed it off and wrote 24,000. So, I think it's just based on the amount. I forgot to give Don an opportunity to. But
He's got his calculator out right now. He's punching the numbers.
But I submitted an application. I'm not overly optimistic. The early indications are that round 2 is coming next year because of the timing of it. We didn't have a listing. I submitted the application also to get it listed on the intended use plan, and that came out. There's a draft that came out in the end of July. It was about the same time that I listed it, and the EFC hadn't even acknowledged. They said it was sent to them. And I got all that, but they didn't acknowledge that it was even received by them yet, so we don't have a project number and things like that you need to do the seeker and the bond resolution and all those things, so. But we'll continue searching. That's it.
So construction is progressing well.
On the
Yeah,
state
roads,
project?
sidewalks, and.
Yes, yeah, they're,
Hard to
it
miss.
is messy and it's an inconvenience, but I think there's gonna be a great product when we're all done and,
Yep,
or
I
when the
agree.
state's all done. And they've been really, as much work as they're doing, I think they've been really great to work with, and trying to keep people informed and minimize the impact for people. I had one resident call, it was last week, I think it was. They went by their driveway and I think they thought there was another access to it. He called up and I think within an hour they had a plate over, so they put access back in there for him, and So they've been really, really responsive to everybody's concerns, so.
They really have been. Very, very good company to work with. And I was actually in the shoe store today and talking to Terry, and he's absolutely impressed with, you know, what they've done. He said, listen, does it hurt my business? Sure it did, but it's something that we have to endure. And he's like, we couldn't ask for a more cooperative company to work with than the contractor that is doing all this work, so. And I think the DOT set the tone for that in their meetings that they had. They had one at 2 o'clock, and I believe another one in the evening for the residents to come in, and that's, they followed through. So, yeah, very impressed, so hopefully they'll be done before it snows. Plants close in what, November?
Yeah, typically, I mean, it's weather dependent, but usually around the middle of November or so.
So are they still online for the end of October?
Yeah, they're talking about, they milled South Avenue this
Right.
week, and they're talking about paving that, not next week, probably towards the beginning of the following week. There's a lot of adjustments still to make. They're doing curbs, they were doing curbs up on North Avenue this week as well. So they'll get back in there, you know, hopscotching over and mill that
Right.
coming up, and then they'll be able to pave that, you know, pave that obviously as well. So I think they're probably in pretty good shape. There's a lot of work to do still.
Absolutely.
But pretty soon, we're talking to them about some of the finer points, street signs, you know, where the side streets come out to 250 and 404, they're gonna be changing those, and they've got me calling them 250 and 404 now instead of East Main and North Ave, South Ave, but they've got some, you know, some of those changes. If you recall, early on, they were putting, I think, marking out, putting the corners on like the parking spots, but we're gonna end up going through contract, and we've been in touch with the county, trying to get them up to be able to put those parking spots back in. But we're waiting
Right.
for them to mark the edge lines first, and
Good.
just trying to coordinate it all.
Good.
I like the handicap access right in the village offices. That's really nice. I was saying the handicap access right in front of the village offices, that's really nice now.
Yes,
They have
it
Right
is.
out the front door.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier for people coming in now.
Yeah, it'd be nice when you get a stripe so people stop parking in front of it, so,
Well,
yeah.
baby steps.
I know. That was a big step, though, moving it down was a very good idea to do that. Anything else? All right. Yeah, I think we gave up on that. All right, the last thing we have is the next village board meeting will be September 24th, and the next workshop will be September 29th. Anybody have any announcements other than the Garlic Festival?
Benefit, the Garlic Festival, I believe, is
Miracle Field.
benefiting the Miracle Field.
Yes.
Should mention that because that's a very worthwhile benefit, so please come out.
So I'll entertain a motion in a second for executive session to discuss the promotion or demotion of a particular employee at this time.
I'd like to add a possible personnel action regarding two particular employees.
Okay.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Trustee Bill King,
Aye.
trustee Byers,
Aye.
trustee Lancy,
Aye.
Mayor Cahill,
All right.
motion passes.